This is the smallest little nip of whiskey, and it has done me really well. This little teacup. It's not, yeah, no, I wish it, I'm glad, so glad it's not espresso. Have you ever seen what espresso does to your stomach lining? Yeah, I'll stick to whiskey, thank you. So I'd like to do an old cowboy song. I'm going to do a couple cowboy songs here in this evening. I'm not an actual cowboy. I play for enough children and drunk people that I want to always make that clear. This is actually like kind of a cowboy drag act, you know. I'm not a cowboy, but I would never ever work as hard as it would be required to be. I'm not that foolish, and also I was born into, well, anyhow, I've met a couple of those guys, and one of them that I met is this guy that taught me this song, old guy named Steve Cormier. The way I like to tell everybody about him, the anecdote is his belt buckle's 3 times the size of mine. It says, Sedgwick County, Kansas Rodeo, 1989, 4th place. That's the kind of guy that is. I've loved learning a bunch of songs from him. He's taught me a bunch of great songs, and this is, I think, my favorite, maybe. It's called The High Tone Dance. And it tells the story of a cowboy going into a bar in Denver looking for conjugal visitation, what was at the time known as the fair sex. Again, now this whole thing's a drag show, who knows. But back then, inside of those rigid gender roles, he wanders into a bar looking for conjugal visitation with the fair sex and finds out that he's not going to fit in at all because he doesn't have any money. So this is his misadventures, the high tone dance. Well, friends, you can't expect a cowboy for to educate his shank in an etiquette-ish fashion under an aristocratic rank. Old boy, he's often been accustomed to shake and heel and toe at them rattling rancher dances where that kind of etiquette folks that don't much go. So you can bet I had 'em all laughing in this awkward sort of way. Oh, I had 'em yanking up their squitters in excited sort of play. When I tumbled into Denver, perchance to take a prance in the snooze and easy measures of a high-tone dance. So when I got amongst those ladies in their frocks so fleecy white, and the dudes topped off in wrappings that were truly out of sight, I tell you what, folks, I frankly got embarrassed. Oh, I could not help but keep from feeling like a burro in a flock of pretty sheep. Now every step I took was awkward. Oh, I blushed so bloomin' red, not dissimilar to the principal decoration on a turkey gobbler's head. Well, the ladies said 'twas seldom that they truly had a chance to see an honest-to-God good time puncher at a high-tone dance. So I cut me out this heifer. And I'm aware that you shouldn't call women heifers in the 21st century. Don't worry, I'm not actually trying to do that. Just trying to sing an old folk song the way it was taught to me by an ornery old bastard who was taught it by, learned it from an ornery old bastard who learned it from an ornery old bastard. You know what I mean? It's American history. It's ornery old bastards all the way down. You know what I'm saying? I do think that it's sort of weird that he'd said heifer, but I believe that he probably had a lot of good intentions with that because he probably knew a lot of heifers. Realistically, I'm from fucking Arkansas, and I know like 3 heifers on a first name basis. You know what I mean? He probably knew tons of heifers on a first name basis. In fact, he made his living off of heifers. You know what I mean? So I think if we're offended by that just because it's a lot later, well, then I don't think that's really correct because he had a totally different way of thinking about the world than we did. And I do think if you take all these old songs, you change all the words to make sure that a primarily white middle-class audience is comfortable all the time, where they're doing a fundamental disservice to the American folk tradition, which that is buried inside of a lot of problems that we're dealing with in the American society today, like racism, sexism, colonialism, homophobia, and these old kind of old problems that we haven't looked at our folklore close enough to like know how to actually solve because we want to like whitewash them and make sure that they're all really simple. So I think that we can use these old songs as like dialectical materials with us to try to make the world a better place. So I cut me out a heifer from this flock of pretty girls. Well, I sidled up beside that cow to dance that dreamy whirl. Well, she shoved her hooves around me in this bovine sort of way. Oh, we drifted into heaven as the band began to play. But I could feel my neck a-burning from her nostrils breathing heat. As she do-si-doed around me, she kept clapping on my feet. And she gazed into my squinters with a frankly soul-dissolving glance. 'Twas quite conducive to the pleasures of a high-tone dance. So when they struck the old cotillion of that music bill of fare, every bit of devil in me seemed to take out on a tear. I let out a cowboy war whoop, and then I commenced to rag. Oh, I cut in with my trotters till the floor began to sag, and my partner then unaccountably became seasick and she clopped off her seat. So I tried to rope the next one, but she dodged me slick and neat. I tell you what, folks, I pulled the creases from their go-to-meeting pants when I put the cowboy trimmings on that high-toned dance.